Yo, what's up guys? It's Bumfries back with episode 24 of our Reddit series. This one's going to be some more entitled parents, and I know you're going to love this one. Make sure to stick around till the end of the video. The Discord server link is now in the description, and I will be discussing it in a bit more detail at the end of the video. We are super close to 30,000 subscribers as well, so if you haven't already, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Now sit back, relax, and laugh at some entitled parents. So I'm 16 years old and I'm about to go to a hockey game, so I went to McDonald's and got myself a Big Mac meal. I get my food and then go to the bathroom to wash my hands. When I get back from the bathroom, there is an entitled parent and their son who have just walked in. I walk back to my table and sit down, and I'm about to start eating when the entitled parent and her son walk over to my table. Once they're at my table, the entitled parent goes, "Hi there, sorry to bother you, but my son's very hungry. Can he have your burger?" Excuse me? We're going to a show and we're running late, so can we have your burger? No, you can wait in line and buy your own burger. And then her son, almost as if he'd been training for this moment his entire life, says, "Mummy, I'm hungry." Look what you're doing. You are the reason my son is hungry. No, I'm not. It's not my fault you guys are late. Please go away. Well, I'll just have to take it then. So the mum proceeds to grab my tray and walk away with it. I'm in shock, so I don't do anything for the first 5 seconds. The worker sees what's going on and comes over and asks me if there's a problem. Yeah, this lady just took my meal to give it to her son. So he walks over to the lady and her son's table and says, "Excuse me, is it true that you just took this young man's meal?" Absolutely not. This boy was being rude to my son and tried to steal my meal. Have him arrested for harassment. I didn't do anything. You were the one who stole my stuff. And the worker says, "Can you show me the receipt of the meal?" I didn't ask for a receipt. So I pull out the receipt and say, "This is the receipt for the meal." And then she had the nerve to say, "He stole that from me as well." Long story short, they were kicked out and the worker gave me a free McFlurry. It's amazing what entitled parents think they can get away with. I couldn't help but laugh at the part where she says have him arrested for harassment. I would love to say I believe this one because it's definitely something that seems plausible and could actually happen, but that arrested for harassment just throws a real big spanner in the works. To be fair though, if the mum just offered the kids some money for the burger, let's say they're $3.50, she offers him $5 just because they were in a rush, fair enough. But to be that scummy to try and take it for free, that's horrible. Before I start this one, I just want to say this is probably the funniest story that I've seen on this so far. And while we're at it, don't you love those people that feel the need to explain that me is me, dad is my dad, and mum is my mum? Like, who else are they gonna be? Anyway, let's get into it because this is a good one. My brother, let's call him Hayden, broke his leg in January. So when we went on our annual trip to Disneyland in February, we were given a wheelchair for him. We immediately went to our favourite ride, Splash Mountain. After getting to the front of the line, we got on and left the wheelchair where we were instructed to. My whole family was laughing about how scared my mum was. She was on sabbatical this year and it was her first time. But as soon as we see that Hayden's wheelchair is gone, we either shut up or burst the blood vessel. My mum got up first and asked what happened to my brother's wheelchair. I was very young, so this is obviously paraphrased. My mum says to the worker, "Where's Hayden's wheelchair?" And he responds by saying, "Didn't you already take it?" At this point, even I could figure out what had happened. While we were waiting for it to be found, we were given a replacement wheelchair and a lot of apologies from the staff at Splash Mountain. They eventually found her, and when asked why she took it, she said, "Well, my kids were tired, so I thought if nobody was using it, then I could have it." She got kicked out, but was surprisingly understanding on why. She knew she was a piece of crap, and I can't tell if that's good or bad. For anyone who's actually been to Disneyland and required a wheelchair, it actually gives you an immediate front of the line pass. At least it was last time I was there. I can near on guarantee that the entire purpose of this lady stealing the wheelchair was that she saw other people getting to the front of the line all day and she couldn't be bothered waiting anymore. So instead of waiting in line like the other thousands of people or like the other normal people, she decides to steal a wheelchair just to get to the front of the line quicker. I mean, in principle, it sounds like a smart thing to do, but to take it off somebody with the excuse that, "Oh, my kids were tired," that's just a horrible thing to do. This happened maybe 2 months back or so. To give some background, I'm a teenager with autism. I'm not someone who is open about it, but there have been situations where I've been forced to explain that I'm autistic. I don't have it on a severe scale to the point where I need to be monitored whenever I'm out or anything like that, but I struggle with social situations, and to cope with this, I'll carry a small stuffed animal, scarf, or something like that to keep myself calm. These are commonly referred to as sensory toys. It was the weekend and we'd just done a few end of term exams at school. I thought to cool off after a busy week, I would go to McDonald's for a meal. My mum gave me some money and packed my small plush sloth into my purse, just in case. I began walking to the McDonald's, which is roughly a 15 to 20 minute walk away. I arrive and order my food and take a seat. I got my sketchbook and begin doodling while I wait for my food. I got out my sloth too because I was starting to get a bit anxious. After 4 minutes or so, I noticed a little girl, we'll call her Lucy, who looked about the age of 7, eyeballing my sloth. I'm not amazing at social interactions, so I decided to just play it off like I didn't notice and continued drawing. She then walks up to me and just stares at me. I look up and the conversation goes something like this. Hi there. I love your sloth. Thank you. Can I have it? Again, I'm terrible with interactions and just said no, sweetly but firmly, not wanting to cause a scene or seem immature. She then gives me a pouty frown and wanders off. About a minute later, she's back with her mother, who we'll call Karen. Karen then compliments my sloth, just like her daughter did before, and offers me £8 for it. I paid £5 for it. I tried to keep calm and explain I needed that sloth, but she could buy her own one from a shop that was literally 15 minutes away from here. When Karen realized I wasn't going to budge, she turned nasty. She began insulting me and said, "For God's sake, you're old enough to be in secondary school. Stop being such a big baby." At this point, I thought maybe explaining why I needed it would make her leave me alone. I calmly and quietly said, "Look ma'am, I have autism and I need this sloth with me for personal reasons, so please stop trying to buy it off me. It's a sensory toy and it's mine." My food arrived and I thanked the waitress. I grabbed my things and my food and made my way to the door. No way I wanted to be near her for much longer. I put the sloth in my purse and got up. I thought that would be the end of it, right? Yeah, of course it was. As I got up, Lucy grabbed the sloth out of my purse and ran behind her mum. I demanded she give back my sloth. Karen then yells, "You took that sloth from my daughter. Honestly, you should be ashamed of yourself." Eventually, a guy that worked there had been notified by another customer what was going on. He then looked at both of us. Karen then goes, "Can you please remove this young lady from the restaurant? She is clearly mentally unstable." And the waiter then said, "Sure, I will as soon as you give her back her stuffed animal." So Karen defeatedly snatches the toy out of her daughter's hand and left cussing both me and the waiter out. Meanwhile, Lucy was bawling her eyes out. Long story short, I was able to enjoy my cold chicken select meal, but hey, I got a free small milkshake to compensate. I really do not understand what makes people think they are entitled to other people's belongings. In this case though, it wasn't even just the mother, it was the daughter as well that initiated this. I remember a few videos ago I made a comment around entitlement breeding entitlement, and there were a few people who didn't agree. This is just another example of how a parent being entitled is breeding through to their children being just as entitled. Not saying it's always going to happen, but this mother is teaching her daughter that it's okay to try and get whatever she wants, however she wants to get it. So this one has a little bit of backstory. I'm going to condense it, but if you want to pause and read it now, you can. Basically, when this person was younger, they went to a fair, they had an old rusty bike, and they were trying to win a new one. And that's where the story begins. It was a pain and a half getting to the fair, but I got there, and an hour and a half the raffle started up. There were 2 adult bikes that year. One was this awesome looking black and silver Next bike, speed gears and all. I wanted that bike so bad. The raffle starts, and one by one, the bikes are getting won. The other adult bike was taken by some girl, leaving this silver one and 2 toddler-sized bikes. I was begging the ticket gods to let me win. And my ticket number was called, and I started cheering and saying "here" when they called for it. And this other lady next to me starts cheering with me. I had no idea who this lady was or why she was cheering with me, but when I held up my ticket, she snatched it from my hand and went up to the bikes. I was just dumbfounded. Keep in mind that I was 13 at the time, and this woman just took my ticket and ran up to the bikes with her kid, who I recognized. I went to school with him, and his dad was one of the firemen of the town, the same firemen who were holding the raffle for the fair. I wasn't having it. I chased up after her to the bikes and yelled, "I won, you stole my ticket." This lady, the entitled mum, looked at me and said, "This is a boy's bike. A girl couldn't win this bike," and grabbed the beautiful silver bike. I turned to the fireman and tried to explain that she took my ticket from me when her husband came up. "My wife wouldn't take your ticket. Don't start lying because you didn't win. Kids like you are going to ruin the raffle for everyone." In the end, I didn't get the bike, and I got threatened to be banned from the fair if I didn't leave. For one of the first times in this series, I have nothing to say about this one. This is just scummy and goes to show how horrible people are. Alright everyone, that is that for today's video, and as always I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to keep this nice and short today because I want to try and include as much good content as I can in this one, but like I said at the start of the video, Discord server is now up and running and you can feel free to join whenever you want to. The link is in the description. Including myself, the server does only have 3 staff members currently, so in future we may need more depending on how big the channel grows. If that does happen, I'll create a channel in the server dedicated to applying for staff and I'll bring on another person or 2, but we'll see what happens. I'm really excited about this. So many of you have asked, so I think it's going to be a really good step forward for the channel and to build our community even more. Before I wrap up, I think we're about 700 subscribers off 30,000. That is amazing, so thank you all so much, and thank you all for joining lately. Also, sorry this isn't an episode of Nice Girls. To be quite frank, the content on the Nice Girls subreddit today wasn't very good, and I wanted to put out a video that I thought you would actually enjoy. I'll try my best to get a Nice Girls out tomorrow, and hopefully the content's better. Otherwise, that is that for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I'll see you all tomorrow for some Nice Girls. Bye.